First, the Progenitor, Jonathan Joestar. This is where the curse of the Joestars begins. Jonathan appears at the very start of the manga in Phantom Blood, set in late 19th century England. He is introduced as the only son of the wealthy George Joestar I. Jonathan is the archetype of the gentleman, physically imposing but morally pure, possessing a naive kindness that is eventually tempered by tragedy. He is the origin point for the Star Birthmark, a physical trait on the left shoulder that identifies all members of the bloodline. The catalyst for his journey is the arrival of his adopted brother, Dio Brando. Dio arrives with the specific intent to destroy Jonathan psychologically and usurp the Joestar fortune. Throughout the early chapters, Jonathan is isolated and tormented by Dio, culminating in Dio's rejection of humanity via the stone mask, which turns him into a vampire. To combat this, Jonathan does not use a stand. He learns the ripple, Hamon, a martial art based on controlled breathing that simulates the energy of the sun. His primary arc is a tragedy. While he defeats the undead knights Bruford and Tarkus and eventually destroys Dio's physical body, Jonathan does not survive his own story. In the final confrontation aboard a steamship in the Atlantic, Jonathan is mortally wounded. Realizing he cannot kill the severed head of Dio, he chooses to die with his brother in his arms, trapping them both in the burning ship to protect his pregnant wife, Irina. The aftermath of Jonathan's life is the foundation of the entire series. His body is stolen by Dio, meaning that when Dio returns a century later, he is fighting with Jonathan's body. This biological connection is what eventually sends a distress signal, a psychic awakening, down the generations, forcing his descendants to develop stands. Jonathan is the only JoJo who dies at the end of his own part, but his code of honor defines the family legacy. Second, the Trickster, Joseph Joestar. Joseph appears 50 years later in Battle Tendency, set in 1938. He is Jonathan's grandson, but he is his polar opposite in temperament. Where Jonathan was stoic and honorable, Joseph is brash, rude, and lazy. However, he is a tactical genius who specializes in psychological warfare and sleight-of-hand combat. He is introduced in New York City, already possessing a latent natural ability to use the ripple, though he lacks formal training. Joseph's narrative role is to prevent the awakening of the Pillar Men, ancient super beings who created the stone mask. Unlike Jonathan, who fought for honor, Joseph fights largely out of necessity and to protect his grandmother, Irina, and father figure, Speedwagon. He is forced to train under the Ripple Master, Lisa, who is secretly his mother, Elizabeth Joestar, in order to defeat the ultimate life forms, Wamu, Esidisi, and Kars. Joseph's legacy is defined by his survival and longevity. He defeats Kars not by overpowering him, but by tricking him into being launched into space by a volcanic eruption. Joseph is the bridge between the eras. He returns in Stardust Crusaders as an old man, where he manifests the stand Hermit Purple, a divination ability that uses spirit photography. He serves as the navigator for the group traveling to Egypt. He appears again in Diamond is Unbreakable as a senile elder, closing out his story by reconnecting with his illegitimate son, Josuke. Joseph is the only JoJo to appear in 3 distinct parts of the saga, representing the endurance of the bloodline. Third, the Crusader, Jotaro Kujo. Jotaro is introduced in Stardust Crusaders, set in 1987. He is the grandson of Joseph Joestar and the son of Holy Cujoh. He represents a massive shift in the series' tone and mechanics. Jotaro is a Japanese delinquent, stoic, rude to authority, and seemingly emotionless, modeled after Clint Eastwood. He is the first JoJo to wield a stand, the physical manifestation of fighting spirit. His stand is Star Platinum, a close-range power type with immense precision and speed. His story begins in a jail cell, where he refuses to leave because he believes he is possessed by an evil spirit. Joseph reveals this spirit is actually a stand, awakened because Dio, using Jonathan's body, has acquired a stand, forcing the Joestar bodies to resonate. The driving force of his arc is time. His mother, Holy, lacks the fighting spirit to control her stand, and it begins to kill her. Jotaro has 50 days to travel from Japan to Egypt and kill Dio to save her. Jotaro's impact on the lore is absolute. In the final battle against Dio, he discovers that Star Platinum is the same type of stand as Dio's The World. Jotaro unlocks the ability to stop time for mere seconds, a power that makes him arguably the strongest character in the original universe. After Part 3, Jotaro becomes the mentor figure. He appears in Diamond is Unbreakable to guide Josuke, and again in Stone Ocean to aid his daughter, Jolyne. His weakness is his emotional distance. His attempt to protect his family by staying away from them leads to a strained relationship with his daughter, which is a central plot point in Part 6. Fourth, the Guardian, Josuke Higashikata. Josuke leads Diamond is Unbreakable, set in 1999 in the town of Morio. He is a biological anomaly in the family tree, the illegitimate son of Joseph Joestar, 65 years old at the time of conception, and a Japanese woman named Tomoko. Technically, he is Jotaro's uncle, despite being much younger. He is introduced as a polite, fashion-conscious high schooler who flies into a blind, uncontrollable rage if anyone insults his pompadour hairstyle. Josuke's stand is Crazy Diamond. It possesses physical strength rivaling Star Platinum, but its primary ability is Restoration. Josuke can repair broken objects or heal biological injuries, returning them to a previous state. However, he cannot heal himself, and he cannot revive the dead. His story arc is unique because it is not a global adventure, but a slice-of-life murder mystery. Josuke is not trying to save the world. He is trying to protect his town from a serial killer named Yoshikage Kira. The conflict is personal and local. Throughout the arc, Josuke matures from a hot-headed teenager into the Guardian of Morio, inheriting the spirit of his grandfather, on his mother's side, who was the town police officer. His impact is the subversion of the combat trope. Josuke often defeats enemies by healing them improperly, fusing them into rocks or books, or by befriending them. By the end of Part 4, he has turned many of the town's enemy stand users into his allies. He remains in Morio, protecting the town while the main saga moves to Italy. Fifth, the Gangstar, Giorno Giovanna. Giorno is the protagonist of Golden Wind, set in 2001 Italy. His lineage is the most complicated in the series. He was conceived when Dio was in possession of Jonathan Joestar's body. Biologically, he is the son of Jonathan, making him a Joestar, but he carries the charisma and ruthlessness of Dio. He is introduced as a petty thief with a noble dream, to infiltrate the corrupt mafia Passione, overthrow the boss, and stop the drug trade targeting children. His stand is Gold Experience. It has the ability to give life to inorganic objects, transforming luggage into frogs or bullets into tree roots. He can also use this to create replacement body parts, acting as the healer for his team. Giorno's arc is a tight, high-stakes week of gang warfare. He operates differently from previous Joestars. He is willing to kill without hesitation if necessary. He acts as a stabilizing force for his team, often inspiring them to resolve their own past traumas. The climax of his story involves the Stand Arrow. Giorno pierces his own stand to evolve it into Gold Experience Requiem. This form has the power to revert actions and willpower to 0. It is an abstract, godlike ability that traps the antagonist, Diavolo, in an infinite loop of death. Giorno's story is largely self-contained. He succeeds in taking over the Mafia, becoming the new boss of Passione. While he does not appear in later parts, his existence proves that the Joestar spirit, specifically the resolve to protect the weak, can survive even when tainted by the blood of Dio. Sixth, the Prisoner, Jolyne Cujoh. Jolyne is the protagonist of Stone Ocean, set in 2011 Florida. She is the daughter of Jotaro Kujo, and the only female JoJo in the main canon. She is introduced as a rebellious, abrasive young woman who is framed for a hit-and-run accident and sent to Green Dolphin Street Prison. Her relationship with her father is resentful. She views him as an absentee parent who didn't care about her. Her stand is Stone Free. It allows her to unravel her body into string. This sounds weak compared to Time Stop or Restoration, but Jolyne uses it with incredible versatility, stitching wounds, creating nets to catch bullets, or eavesdropping through vibrations. Her power represents her desire to be free from her binding lineage. Her story is the conclusion of the century-long conflict started by Dio. The antagonist, Enrico Pucci, is a disciple of Dio who seeks to reshape the universe. Jolyne's arc is one of rapid maturation. She transitions from a bratty victim to a hardened warrior who understands her father's sacrifice. In the final arc, she reconciles with Jotaro, fighting alongside him. The consequences of her story are total. Pucci succeeds in accelerating time to reset the universe. Jolyne sacrifices herself to save a child, Emporio, allowing him to carry the memory of the Joestars into the next world. While Jolyne dies, her spirit lives on in an alternate timeline version of herself named Irene, a name symbolizing that she no longer needs the Jojo nickname to fight destiny. The curse of the Joestars is effectively broken. 7th, the Jockey, Johnny Joestar. Johnny initiates the Steel Ball Run universe, a separate continuity from parts 1 to 6, set in 1890 America. He is an alternate counterpart to Jonathan Joestar, but their personalities are reversed. Johnny was a former horse racing prodigy who became a paraplegic after being shot in the spine due to his own arrogance. He is introduced as a bitter, depressed man with negative intent. He joins the Steel Ball Run race not for honor, but because he witnesses Gyro Zeppeli use a technique called the spin, which momentarily allows Johnny's legs to move. He is desperate to reclaim his ability to walk. His stand is Tusk, which evolves through 4 acts. It allows him to shoot his fingernails like bullets, infused with the energy of the spin. Johnny's arc is a dark redemption. He is often ruthless, willing to kill anyone who gets between him and the corpse parts, holy relics that grant power. Unlike Jonathan, who was purely selfless, Johnny admits his desires are selfish. However, through his friendship with Gyro, he learns the golden rotation. In the final duel against the President of the United States, Funny Valentine, Johnny unlocks Tusk ACE-4, a power comprising infinite rotational energy that can breach dimensional barriers. After the race, Johnny eventually regains the ability to walk. Years later, he marries a Japanese woman and moves to Japan. In a tragic echo of Jonathan's self-sacrifice, Johnny later uses the power of the corpse to transfer a fatal disease from his wife and son onto himself, dying to save his family. 8th, the Fusion, Josuke, Gappy, Higashikata. This Josuke is the protagonist of JoJolion, set in the SBR Universe's version of Morio in 2011. He is fundamentally different from all previous protagonists because he is not one person. He is found half buried in the ground near the Wall Eyes, with complete amnesia. It is eventually revealed that he is a fusion of 2 people, Josefumi Kujo and Yoshikage Kira. This universe's version of Kira is a protagonist. Due to the equivalent exchange properties of the Lokakaka fruit and the Wall Eyes, their bodies and souls merged. He has 4 testicles and eyes that are split-colored. His stand is Soft and Wet, which uses soap bubbles to plunder properties from objects, stealing the friction from a floor or the sight from an eye. His arc is an existential search for identity. He is adopted by the wealthy Higashikata family, who view him with suspicion. Unlike the Part 4 Josuke, Gappy is clinical, cold, and highly analytical in combat. He ruthlessly kills rock humans who threaten his new family. His ultimate ability, Soft and Wet, Go Beyond, utilizes bubbles that do not exist in this reality, allowing them to bypass logic and calamity itself. His story concludes with the acceptance that he is neither Kira nor Josefumi, but a new existence entirely. He chooses to remain as Josuke Higashikata, honoring the legacy of the woman who saved him, Yasuho Hirose, and protecting the remaining Higashikata family members. 9th, the hustler Jodio Joestar. Jodio is the protagonist of Part 9, the JoJoLands, set in present-day Hawaii. He is the grandson of Joseph Joestar, SBR Universe, and the cousin of Josuke's Part 8. He is a 15-year-old high school student who operates as a mechanism for the criminal underworld. Jodio is diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, sociopathy. He is transactional and obsessed with mechanisms, systems of power and wealth. He wants to become filthy rich. His stand is November Rain, which creates localized heavy rain that can crush enemies with the weight of the droplets. Currently, his story is in its early stages. He is involved in a heist to steal a cryptic lava rock from the manga artist Rohan Kishibe. Unlike previous JoJos who fight for justice, survival, or identity, Jodio is motivated by accumulation and the protection of his immediate family, specifically his sibling Dragona. His narrative is shaping up to be an exploration of how a Joestar operates when their morality is fundamentally gray or self-interested. 10th, the missing link, Jojo Joestar. George II is the forgotten Joestar, appearing only in flashbacks during battle tendency. He is the son of Jonathan Joestar, born months after his father's death. Unlike the other Joestars, George II was not a warrior of the Ripple. He was an ace pilot in the Royal Air Force during World War I. His narrative purpose is tragic but vital. He possessed no combat training, yet he noticed that one of his commanding officers was a zombie created by Dio. George confronted the monster to protect his country and family, but was killed. His death is the catalyst for his wife Lisa to go into hiding and for his son Joseph to grow up without parents. He represents the vulnerability of the bloodline when they lack the tools to fight the supernatural. 11th, the Matriarch, Lisa, Elizabeth Joestar. Lisa appears in battle tendency as the mentor figure, but she is secretly Elizabeth Joestar, the wife of George II and the mother of Joseph. She was the infant saved by Irina Pendleton on the burning ship at the end of Part 1. She is a master of the Ripple, far surpassing Joseph in skill. Her signature weapon is a scarf made of yarn from the Sataporoja beetle, which conducts ripple energy at 100% efficiency. Unlike the typical damsel mothers in shonen manga, Lisa is a frontline combatant who fights the Pillar Men directly. She is the one who preserved the Red Stone of Aja, the artifact sought by Kars. Her legacy is keeping the fighting style of Jonathan alive long enough to pass it to Joseph. 12th, the Catalyst, Holy Kujo. Holy appears in Stardust Crusaders and is the daughter of Joseph Joestar. She is the reason the Stardust Crusaders form. When Dio awakens, the distress signal in the Joestar blood forces stands to manifest in all descendants. While Jotaro and Joseph gain combat stands, Holy is a gentle soul with no fighting spirit. Her stand manifests as thorny vines, similar to Hermit Purple, that slowly strangle her and drain her life force. She is the ticking clock of Part 3. If she had the will to fight, she might have been a powerful user, but her nature turns her power into a curse. She survives the arc after Dio's death breaks the resonance, allowing her to return to a peaceful life in Japan. 13th, the Invisible, Shizuka Joestar. Shizuka appears in Diamond is Unbreakable. She is not a blood relative, but an adopted daughter found by Joseph Joestar. As an infant, she was abandoned on the road, and her stress caused her stand, Achtung baby, to activate, turning her and everything around her invisible. Joseph adopts her despite his senility, showing that the Joestar spirit of protection extends beyond blood. While she never gets her own story arc as a teenager in the canon manga, her existence keeps the door open for future non-bloodline Joestar stories. 14th, the Blood of Dio, Rikiel, Ungalo, and Donatello versus. These three appear in Stone Ocean as minor antagonists. They are the illegitimate half-brothers of Giovanna, fathered by Dio using Jonathan's body. Unlike Giorno, they did not inherit the noble spirit of Jonathan. They inherited the twisted darkness of Dio and the broken lives of their mothers. Ungalo, a drug addict whose stand, Bohemian Rhapsody, brings fictional characters to life, causing global chaos. He represents a life of escapism. Rikiel, a man plagued by anxiety whose stand, Sky High, controls energy-eating cryptids called rods. He finds a brief moment of honor in battling Jolyne, showing a flicker of the Joestar fighting spirit. Donatello versus, the most ambitious of the three. His stand, Underworld, digs up memories of the Earth to trap victims in past disasters. He attempts to betray Pucci and sees power for himself, echoing Dio's treacherous nature, but is executed for his arrogance. 15th, The Anomaly, Jodio Joestar, novel version. This entity appears in the non-canonical light novel Jodio Joestar. In this hyper-surreal timeline, George II does not die in WWI. Instead, he becomes a detective who solves crimes across alternate universes using a concept called Beyond, a meta-narrative power that ensures the protagonist always wins. This version of the character is wildly different, engaging in time travel and interacting with alternate versions of Cars and Dio. While not canon to the manga, this iteration explores the idea of the Joestar fate being a literal plot armor that can be manipulated. 16th, Holy Joestar Kira. This Holy is the daughter of Joseph Joestar in the JoJolion universe. She is a non-combatant doctor, mother to both Yoshikage Kira and Kei Nijimura. Her narrative purpose is pure tragedy. She suffers from a severe, debilitating genetic illness caused by the rock humans. Her illness is the single motivating factor for her son, Yoshikage, leading him to risk everything to find the miraculous Lokakaka fruit. She is the ultimate damsel in distress whose survival fuels the entire plot of Part 8. 17th, Yoshikage Kira, also known as Yoshikage Kira, the Marine Surgeon. In this universe, he is not a villain, but a Joestar descendant, the son of Holy Joestar Kira. He carried the Star Birthmark and the Kira surname, possessing the Stand Killer Queen, similar to the original universe. His relentless attempt to cure his mother, Holy, led him to cross paths with Josefumi Kujo. When he died protecting Josefumi, their bodies fused through the power of the Walleyes, creating the amnesiac protagonist known as Josuke Higashikata, Gappy. Kira's sacrifice is the genetic starting point for Part 8's hero. 18th, Kei Nijimura. Kei is Holy Joestar Kira's daughter and Yoshikage's sister. She carries the Joestar blood and is a dedicated protector of her bedridden mother. She infiltrated the Higashikata household as a maid, taking the false surname Nijimura, to investigate the secrets surrounding her brother's fusion and the Lokakaka. She wields the Standborn this way, which manifests as an extremely fast, cold-generating rider capable of defensive actions. She serves as a vital guide for Josuke in understanding his fragmented identity. 19th, Barbara Ann Joestar. Barbara Ann is a direct descendant of the Joestar line in the JoJoLands universe, introduced early in the ongoing story. She is the mother of the current protagonist, Jodio Joestar, and his sibling, Dragona Joestar. She lives a financially struggling life in Hawaii, having been abandoned by her husband. Though not a fighter, her struggle provides the primary motive for her children: to become filthy rich and secure the family's future through any means necessary. 20th, Dragona. Joestar, Dragona is the older sibling of Jodio and a member of their heist crew in the JoJoLands. Dragona is defined by ambiguity, presenting femininely with breast implants while operating in a morally gray criminal world. Dragona's stand, Smooth Operators, is a mechanism that allows the user to smoothly relocate visual markers or features on an object, such as number plates or eyes, causing disorientation and misdirection. Dragona represents the modern, morally flexible iteration of the Joestar spirit, one primarily focused on self and sibling preservation rather than global destiny.